Yes. Art has always been a huge factor in our growth as a society. Whether that be music, writing, filming, or just about anything that really requires a creative mindset. Another thing that also plays a huge role in society is technology and software. The examples are television, the internet, your phone. As long as it's powered with electricity and has some sort of software programmed into it, it is considered technology. At least that's what I have in my book. And over the century, technology has made incredible benefits for thriving artists. To social media platforms, to drawing software, we have been given a variety of ways to use our talent and decorate the walls of the world. But I want us to stop and ask ourselves, at what point does our software do more of the work than us? At what point is a picture just something you commissioned a computer to draw you? My answer? AI artwork. Let's begin. Now, when I was searching for data and all the events that brought this fanfare to the light, I discovered that the first image had dated all the way back to 1973, where a computer scientist named Harold Cohen created the first AI-generated picture/artwork. We shouldn't even call it art at this point. Cohen's painting was created by a self-made program called Aaron. No, this was not for speeding up Attack on Titan Rule 34 commissions. It's an artificial intelligence program that generates art based on a set of rules that he programmed into this specific software. So if the rule was paint a red square, then Aaron would generate a painting that consisted of red squares. I wouldn't make the assumption that it was a painting of an apple. It's more like the mess that your hungover roommate made after downing a whole lot of Bloody Mary that other night. Which kind of concerns me for my future in college. Anyway, in other terms, we can just say that the paintings were abstract. Now, fast forward to 2014, where generative adversarial networks were developed. Now, these networks consist of two components, the generator and the discriminator. So the generator takes random noise as its input. Anything, really. Construction, barbecue sizzling, the muffled screams of the orphans locked up in my basement, the abysmal asshole of Nikocado Ava. Okay, I'll stop. Anyways, the generator takes this noise and turns it into a meaningful output, and when the noise is introduced, we are able to get a variety of sampled data collected from different places in our target distribution. Now, moving on to the discriminator, the generator receives training from the discriminator. It does this by separating the real data and fake data. Like everywhere you go, nowadays, real is the positive, while fake is the negative. During training, two loss functions are connected, discriminator loss and generator loss. So discriminator loss basically tells the discriminator, don't serve me this, it's fucking raw. Put that shit back in the oven. And once it does that, the weights are updated. Now, in order to train this thing properly, the weights are altered in order to reduce the error of the output loss. However, the generator is not directly connected to the loss that we are trying to affect here. I'll go ahead and simplify everything. Discriminator net nom-noms from generator, and discriminator makes output that we want to affect. So that's some in-depth research on the process on how GANs can be used in order to create realistic images, or anything in general out of AI. Now that we've covered a bit of the origins, you're probably asking me, what the ever-loving fuck does this have to do with me being upset at AI artwork? Well, let's move on. So, I really don't need to explain that much about the process of drawing. It's basically where you take a pen, a pencil, or anything that can really make a mark on a piece of paper, and then you try to create a picture out of that, whether it be a stick figure or what I'm doing right now. It comes in all sorts of forms, painting, and even digital art. Now, here's where I tell you guys about the difference between digital art and AI art. Now, digital art is where you use software in order to make your own and original designs by hand. The software allows us freely to create whatever we have intended. However, when I talk about AI art, what you get in the end may not be exactly what you have imagined. Now, I know that that's a usual saying, but I want to tell you guys a little more about this. During the process, when people create AI art, they are not drawing, period. They are simply just stealing other people's artworks and then combining that by using an AI generator to create a piece that they will then consider their own. At least that is what I have concluded over the rumors. So this is when the evolved GAN software comes into play. So here was my first discovery. One moment I decided to get on this silly little AI image generator called DALL-E, and I would just type in whatever I wanted, and the results would usually get me pissing my pants laughing. It was bad, but it was bad in a way where it was actually good and acceptable to me. And if we're gonna get personal, the scattered mess that I would often see in the results was so abstract, and it was to the point to where it would actually evoke some of my emotion. I had felt happy when I saw that. I felt like it was worth laughing and, just having fun, and it was actually kind of catching to the eye. However, since AI has evolved, I can't really say that now to the more organized and, the pictures I'm talking about. Now, I wouldn't say that I'm against AI art entirely. It's just a specific section that I see where it could be particularly harmful, and I think it would be best for us not to promote that sort of stuff in the light. Now, there are two types of people, or at least that's how I'm going to categorize it. There are two types of art appreciators. The kind of people who actually understand and appreciate the person and their work as well, and just the people who are like, ooh, pretty picture, okay, bye-bye. Now, in your head, you're probably thinking that type 1 is more of a feeling for others type, when type 2 is just like, okay, yeah, logically speaking, this project is pretty. However, what if I told you that that actually is vice versa? Or, well, maybe not vice versa, but what if I told you that the people who truly appreciate art have more of a tendency to think about what's happening in the picture? Because the people who truly understand and actually can appreciate art, they have to see all the sorts of details. They have to pick apart the picture and understand what kind of message you were trying to convey, or the artist in question was trying to convey to their audience. The picture takes hours and hours. In the hours of that creation alone, in my head, I picture it as a story. Like, this is the story, and this is how I'm going to present it to you. Every single picture drawn by hand has its backstory. That story is also what gives the picture its life, because the effort put into it is what creates life. Like, think about it this way. If your parents just did the thing and, your mama had the baby the next day, you would be, you'd be slightly uncomfortable, But thankfully, that is not how pregnancy works. Instead, we have to wait 9 months for the baby to develop slowly. So it's healthy enough to come out into the world and actually have a life of its own. The AI generator is just like, okay, yeah, I don't really want this child, but at the same time, I'm gonna have a child, and then, you know what happens. I'm not gonna talk about that. But it's just the fast creation and the instant gratification, hey, that rhymes, that we get from these generators. It's too fast for the picture to actually spend time in the world. In a way, AI just takes the life out of the picture, kills it, just stabs it. I can completely understand why people are hyping this up, because the speed of this matches with the generation that I actually grew up in, or Gen Z. We want instant gratification, so we get instant gratification, and the only way we can really get instant gratification is by fast processing software such as the internet, because humans just simply do not work like that. Now I can already sniff that argument up your asshole.
Oh, AI art takes time. It takes all the time with the software.
Bitch, you did not get a pen, you did not draw that. You simply just programmed some software to make an image. That is not art. Grow up.